In this video, let us know about the different reports present in Zoho Sprints. So a report helps you to analyze the sprint performance, and this helps the team to know how better they are progressing with the work. Because each report in Zoho Sprints varies with different parameters and giving insightful information about the progress of the work. So here in Zoho Sprints, we do have all inbuilt reports which are automatically generated based on the work progress of the users. So now let us look into the different reports given here. So under the reports module, we do have 4 different reports, which is sprint reports, epic, release and timesheet reports. So the first within the sprint reports, we do have the velocity. So velocity report helps you to track down the performance and capability of the users. So based on the completed sprints, this report is generated. So here an average velocity is calculated using this formula. So what does that mean is, your team is able to complete only this count of work items. So if you associate more than the count given here, then it means the users will not be able to complete because that is not their performance or capability of the users. So since it is a sprint report, this is very much helpful for the sprint owners because they will come and view what is the sprint velocity, and based on that, the next sprint they will be designing it. That is how much data the users will be able to complete. So this is the velocity report. So here you can see all the completed sprints given, the committed count of items and the completed count of items. So this report you can view it either by points or count. And if suppose you wanted to view what are the committed work items, the list of it, and the completed work items, the list of it. So you just click on the bar, you will be automatically directed to the page where you can see all the committed work items and the completed work items. So this report, you can export it as PNG, PDF and schedule to export. So when you're scheduling, you will be giving the frequency, the time and the date when you wanted to schedule it. So this is all about the velocity report. So next we have is the burn down report. Burn down report helps you to track down the pending work items day-to-day wise. So this gray line is the estimated duration within which your sprint has to be completed. So this will be given by your sprint owners. So this is the orange line which is shown here. And then we have the prediction line. So this particular sprint has to be completed within the estimated duration of line, that is within the gray line, but the users are still working on the sprint and it is predicted to be completed only by November. So this is how you view and read the report of burn down chart. So next, moving on to the burn up report. So burn up is completely opposite to burn down. So this helps you to track down the completed work items day-to-day wise. So you can also switch over to a different sprint and get the report. So again, this gray line is the estimated duration. The users have to complete the sprint within the scheduled deadline, but here the sprint is not yet completed and it is predicted to be completed later. So this is the burn up report. So next report we have is the cumulative one. So cumulative helps you to track down the number of work items present in each status. So at the start of the sprint, all work items will be under the to-do status. So based on the work progress, you will be just dragging and dropping the work items from one status to another status. So in that range, you will be able to view what are the items present in each status. So when you click on the dotted icon, you can go and check out what are the work items present in each status. The list of it will be shown up here. So when you are moving the work items across the sprints, the count of the work items in each status keeps increasing. And at last, all the work items will be moved to the done status. So you can have 5 different status selected up here, you apply it and then you can view it for different status in the cumulative chart. So this helps you to track down if there is any bottlenecks in between, or if you wanted to add up any new work items, that is also possible. So you can view the count of items in each status and you can make your progress of the work accordingly. So this is all about the cumulative report. So next we have is the latency report. So latency helps you to track down the inactive work items present in the sprint. For example, you are the project manager or the sprint owner of a project. So you have some critical work items that your team is going to work on it. If suppose any specific item is left idle more than 24 hours, then it means the user is not working on it. So you being a sprint owner, you can go and ask the team members for what reason the specific item was left idle. So you can have a discussion with them, and then later on you can give what suggestions from your end so that they will be able to complete the work within the scheduled deadline. So this is the latency report. So here in the backlog or any sprint, you can go and check out the inactive work items. So if you wanted to view what are the inactive work items, you click on the bar and you can see the list of items. So you can view this either by modified time or created time. So next we have is the sprint process time. So sprint process time helps you to track down the time taken to complete a sprint within a specific duration of time. So here you give the start date and end date, which is a week's duration, and then you can go and check out the average progress of work, that is the time they have taken each status. So when you scroll down, you can see the status name, the type of it, the duration spent, the average duration, and the total number of work items present in each status. So you can also change the duration here and you can get the data. So next we have is the item process time. So item process time helps you to track down the time taken to complete a work item. So this is a specific sprint which is called UI development, and within the sprint there are multiple work items associated. So for each item you can check out the time they have taken to complete. That is, here in this particular item you can see in to do status they have taken 215 days to complete. So in the next status they have taken some amount of time. So likewise in each and every item you can view how much time they have taken in each status to complete the work. And when you click on a specific status, you will also be directed to the status timeline section. So here you can track down who has moved the work item from one status to another and how much time they have taken to move it. So for each and every item, we have the status timeline here, which helps you to track down the work progress of the item. So this is all about the item process time report. So the next report we have is the completed sprint. So once the sprint is completed in the board module, you will be completing it. That is, the sprint owner will be completing the sprint. So once it is completed, this report here under completed sprints will be generated. So here if you wanted to view the details of a sprint, you click on release notes and you can see what are the items which are completed in a sprint and what are the items which are unresolved. So unresolved means there are cases where you move the work items which are not yet completed before completing a sprint. So the items which are moved to a different sprint falls under the unresolved item section here. So if you wanted to export this data, you can also export it as per your own requirement. And if suppose you wanted to track down the details or the dashboard of the sprint, you click on the name of the sprint and here you can see the dashboard. So here you can check out how your team has progressed with the work at the sprint level. So this is about the completed sprints. And next we have is the cancel sprint. If suppose you have cancelled any sprint, this report will be generated. So these are the reports that fall under the sprint report section. So now let us have a look at the epic reports. So for under epic reports, we do have the first report as epic progress. So this helps you to track down the performance of your users under each and every sprint which is associated to an epic. So at first you can see the epic is the customer requirements which I have, and there are different work items associated across multiple sprints. So when you hover over, you can see how many work items are in open status, how many are completed. So everything you can track it down. Again, you can view it either based on points or count. And this is about the epic progress. The same way we have the burn down and burn up report for epic, which helps you to track down the work progress of the users. So the next report we have is the release reports. So under release reports, you will be able to track down all the completed release. So once the release is moved to the release stage, this report will be generated. So here when you click on the release notes, you will be able to view all the completed work items in a specific release. And if you wanted to export this data, that is also possible. And then next we have is the burn down report. Similar to the report we have at the sprint level, the same report we have at the release level. So this helps you to track down the performance of the users. So again, within the duration of the release, the users have to complete the work, but in this release, the users haven't completed. The release is still progressing and it is predicted to be completed only by October or November. So next is the burn up report. Burn up is completely opposite to burn down. So this helps you to track down the completed work items day-to-day wise. So you can just hover over the orange line and track down how much work your team has completed. You can also switch over to a different release and you can fetch the details. So the next report we have is the timesheet reports. So timesheet reports basically gives you all the data based on the actual log hours added by your users. So the first report we have is the sprint report. So this report helps you to track down the actual log hours, that is the actual time taken by the users in a specific item type. So because in this particular project, you will be creating multiple work items in different item types, right? So you can go and check out how much time they have taken in each item type here. For example, you have a QA team where you wanted to track down how much time they have taken to resolve the bugs. So you straight away come to this report, and when you hover over the bug item type, you can see the actual time they have taken to complete the work. So likewise, in each and every sprint and in each and every item type, you will be able to track down how much time they have taken to complete. And if you wanted to track down what are the items they have in each item type, then when you click on the bar, you will be directed to the page. Here, the list of items will be given and the approval status, the billing status, and the actual time they have taken to complete the work. So this is all about the sprint report type under the timesheet reports. So next we have is the work item type. So this gives you the overall log hours added by the users across the item types. So in this specific project, you can see the total log hours they have taken to complete the task item type. So likewise, for each item type, you can check it out by hovering over the bar. So next we have is the user-wise report. So this gives the list of users who are assigned to the project and the total log hours they have added under each item type. So here you can see the list of users, the time they have taken to complete the work under each item type. And also when you click on the bar, you can also see what are the list of items they worked on in this specific project. And next we have is the month-wise report. This helps you to track down the time the users have taken in a specific month based on each item type. And if you wanted to filter the data, we also have the quick filters, which helps you to view the data based on a specific criteria. And next we have is the actual versus planned. So this actual versus planned is very much helpful for you to track down if the users have started and completed the work items within the scheduled deadline or not. So here you can see the list of sprints. So this here UI UX is the name of a sprint and the list of work items are given. So likewise, you can go and view for other sprints as well. So for example, when you take one specific item, you can see the start date and end date. So the planned start date and the planned end date is the duration you have given to the item, which is the estimated or planned duration. Whereas the actual start date would be when the first log hour was added to the item, and the actual end date would be when the item is moved to done status, then that will be considered as actual end date. And here we have planned hours and actual hours. The planned hours are based on the planned start date, planned end date, the duration of it, and the actual hours are based on the total log hours added by the users in a specific item. So that is the actual hours. And the total variance is the difference between the planned and the actual hours. And the variance is there are still more time for the users to complete the work in percentage. So this report you can view it either by sprint or user wise. For each users, you can track down the items assigned to them, the planned hours and the actual hours. So this report can also be exported as per your own requirement. So these are the reports that we have under the specific reports module within the project. And now if suppose you wanted to track down the project progress. So for that, we do have a separate dashboard at the project level. So to view that, you go to the view details section at the top and click on the dashboard. So this dashboard gives you the project dashboard section where overall progress of the project. So first one we have is the weekly digest. So this helps you to track down the closed and reopened work items day-to-day wise based on the week you have set. And next we have is the item completion, which helps you to track down the completion of the work items. And moving down, we do have different count of sprints which are added to the project. So here you can see the total sprints, the upcoming sprints, the active and the completed sprints count. And moving down, we have the user engagement. So this user engagement helps you to track down the count of work items present for each user. So this gives the 5 most engaged users, 5 least engaged users, all users and your own activity. So the main purpose of this report is this helps you to know who are the users who are already occupied with the work items in the project. So you can't be adding up the work items for the users who are already engaged, right? So in that case, you can go with the least engaged user section and you can see who are the users who are least engaged, and for them you can add the work items and they will start working on the project. So this is about the user engagement chart. Moving down, we do have the backlog charts. So here you can track down the backlog work items based on item type, priority and also based on the estimation points. And next we have is the backlog engagement, where you can see the 5 most engaged users and the 5 least engaged users in the backlog section where you are planning your work items. So these charts given here can also be exported if required. Next we have is the backlog activity. So this helps you to track down the work items which were newly added, moved to sprints, moved from sprints and so on. So when you hover over each and every bar which is day-to-day wise given, you will be able to track down the backlog activity here. And then moving down, we do have the charts based on the log hours added by the users. So first we have is the log type tracker, where you can see the log hours added by the users for work items, for meetings and for general log types. And next we have is the approval log type. So the log hours which are added by the users will be approved by their managers, right? So here in this chart you can see the hours which are approved by the users, which are pending and which are rejected. So that can be tracked down under the approval log type for work item, meeting and general. So for each and every category it is given here. And moving down, we have the 2 different charts based on the billing hours and the non-billing hours, the approval of it and again the billing status, the non-billable and billable for each log type it is given over here. So for work item, meeting and general. So the last chart here we have is the actual versus plan chart. So this helps you to track down the percentage completion of the sprint. So for example, when you take this sprint, you can see the start date and end date of a sprint and it is completed only 40% and it is not yet completed and it has crossed the due date, which is why it is shown as extended with a dotted line. So if the sprint is completed behind the schedule or ahead of schedule, so you can view it in the red color or the green color. So these are the indications which helps you to track down the performance of your sprint. So these are the charts we have at the project level. So this is the project dashboard that we have for each and every project in Zoho Sprints. So these reports are for the Scrum project type. So there are different reports for the Kanban project type. So now let us have a look at it. So this is my Kanban project which I am working on. So if I wanted to view the Kanban reports, you go to the reports module. So here under reports module, we do have different reports like Kanban report, Epic, release and timesheet reports. So under Kanban report, we do have 3 different reports: cycle time and lead time. So the lead time is calculated from the time the user has created an item till the completion of it is the lead time, whereas the cycle time is when the user has moved the work item to do status of the Kanban board till the completion of it is the cycle time. So this lead time is mostly helpful for the product management team because they will be creating the work items based on the feasibility check. Whereas the project managers, they will only know when their team is available for the work, right? So based on that, they will be moving the work items to the to-do stages of the Kanban board and they will start working on it. So cycle time is mostly helpful for the project managers to track down how their team is progressing with the work. So now let us have a look at each and every report one by one. So first we have is the cycle time trend. So here this report is given on weekly basis and it is given only for the completed work items. So for different item types, here you can track down the average cycle time the users have taken to complete the work. So here you can see for task, for bug and for the story. So this line which is given here should go either straight or it should go down. It shouldn't go up. If it goes up, then it means they are taking more time to complete the work. At that point of time, you can go and discuss with your team members for what reason they are taking more time. So if you wanted to view what is the time they have taken, you click on the dotted icon. You can go and check out the list of items and the time they have taken to complete the work. So this is the cycle time trend. And next we have is the cycle time variation. So this helps you to track down the maximum, minimum and average cycle time the users have taken to complete the work. So this is given in the weekly basis again. So the same way the line should go straight or it should go down. It shouldn't go up. So if it goes up, it means the users are taking more time to complete the work. So it might be a critical case as well, but you can discuss with your team members and you can collect the information for what reason they are taking more time to complete the work. And next we have is the cycle time process control. So cycle time process control helps you to track down the percentile completion of the work items in the project. For example, here we have the 95 percentile given, which is the predefined markers. So what does it mean is, in this project, 95 percentile of work items have been completed within 15 days of time. Likewise, you can view for other work items as well. So in this 95 percentile, there is only one item which has taken the maximum cycle time, that is given in the card. That is the name of the item which is given in the card. So here you can see the 30, 50, 70, 85, 95 are predefined markers given. So here in each and every status, you can see how many work items were completed in the project. So this is the cycle time process control. So the same way we have lead time trend, lead time variation and lead time process control. So the same way, however you read the before reports, the same way you will read these reports as well. But the only difference is the calculation of it. The lead time will be calculated from the time you have created an item till the completion of it. So this is all about the cycle time reports and the lead time reports. Apart from this, we also have the burn down, burn up, cumulative, latency and so on. So whatever reports we saw in the Scrum project type, the same is given even for the Kanban project type. So this will be helpful for you to